I don't think anybody could have wished for a better season. I think, to an extent they've overachieved, but I think, again, with success comes expectation now. But I think the important thing is to now manage the level of expectation, not get carried away, because you get people talking about, Europe next year, can we push for a top 6 next year? I think stabilisation, stability is really important from now on to keep Leeds, in the top half of the Premier League table. Make additions to the squad in the summer. I think what the manager's done and the output that he gets from these players is phenomenal. What the way that he's improved players. Some of his signings have been very acute, and I just think it's been an all-round brilliant season for Leeds fans to watch, especially the way that they play, the amount of goals that they score. Yes, they do concede. Yes, they concede chances, but they're a fantastic team to watch. It was very, very disappointing that they missed out at the end of the last season when they won the championship. I mean, Leeds and Ellen Road, you saw the party going on around outside just after that. So you can imagine what a full stadium would have been like. The one that I think really stood out was the game just gone against Manchester United, the intense rivalry and the atmosphere. There's games like that when you really do miss the fans. And I think the Leeds fans have waited so long, 16, 17 years. It's been a really tough watch for them this year, not being able to go anywhere near the stadium. And yes, it's fantastic that they can get back in before the last game of the season. It's just disappointing that it's against West Brom. I mean, of all the teams, it's a team they played last year in the Championship, and it's going to be a team that's already relegated. I mean, it's not exactly the ideal game, but it's brilliant that Leeds are in the Premier League and the fans can start coming back in to see that. And hopefully next year we'll have full stadiums. I don't think anybody at Spurs or Spurs fans would have an issue if he did decide to leave now. I think the conversation's been there all this season. They've got the League Cup coming up as an opportunity to qualify for Europe that way, or we can always finish 4th. The manager's been sacked and everything seems to be drifting away. It's going to be a tough end to the season for Spurs. And I think at his age and his stage in his career, if he were to move on and wanted to fulfil his ambition to win things, I don't think anybody would begrudge him that. It's great being a one-man club, and it'd be a fantastic thing if he did stay and Spurs were able to build a team around him. But I think if there was any time for him to go, I think it's possibly this summer. I think the next manager for Spurs, whoever they recruit, will have a huge impact on whether he stays or not. The first job that the manager will have will be to sit down with him and decide his future. Because if the Jose is gone, if Harry Kane goes, there's a big part of the team that's been taken out there, and it looks from a distance that it's a rebuilding job again. I think they should go for an experienced manager, somebody who's managed at that level with international credentials. Ryan is going to be a fantastic manager, and with Chris Powell alongside him, I think they've been thrown at the deep end, but they've done a really good job. They've prepared the team for the cup final, and they've got an opportunity between now and the end of the season. I think Spurs should go for a world-class proven manager. They did that in Jose. I'm disappointed they missed out with Nagelsmann. I thought the way that Tuchel, the effect that Tuchel's had at Chelsea, Nagelsmann could have had similar at Spurs. But obviously Bayern Munich saw that and got in quick. So it's going to be interesting to see who Daniel does appoint for the next manager. But I think, he's hired and fired and he's backed managers before, and you have to trust him to get the decision right. As far as Ryan Mason goes, I think he's done a wonderful job with the under-23s. I think he'll continue to be develop as a coach, develop as a manager. This opportunity will be an incredible experience for him. And I think he will go on to manage Spurs one day, but maybe not just yet. It's not something that I dabble in or I'm very active on. But I think the social media blackout this week is a stance, but it's a stance that has to be continued. It's not just another campaign. It can't just be another, a one-off campaign. It has to be something that doesn't go away, and we have to stick to it. And the government at some point have to get involved and bring some legislations in. I think that's the only way that we are going to actually put a stop to it. And you quite rightly say the fan power, the ESL, and everything else that happened. It shows what togetherness and unity can do when there is a consensus of opinion. And we have to take a similar, if not the same, stance with this. Of course, I think my opinions are the same as the majority of the football world. And I think the way it was stamped out within 2 or 3 days was incredible. The fan power, the togetherness of football, the togetherness of the other 14 Premier League clubs. It showed what strength we have actually got in this game and what belief we've got in this game. It's difficult. It's going to be very difficult for these owners and these chairmen to restore the trust between them and the fans. So I think the fans and the players and the management have to stay united. Fans are a key to football, as we've seen this season, and teams need their supporters. So, the supporters are well within their rights to voice and vent their frustrations at owners and chairmen, just not at players, not to the players' detriment.